Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to the second meeting of Fun Talk with English Talent Lamkulu, How to Get a Scholarship Abroad, Volume 2. Actually, this is our second meeting, and I see many familiar faces here, and we are so excited to dig in more to our speaker story for today. For those who missed the previous event, you can check that out on our YouTube channel, Kanwil DJKN Lampung dan Bengkulu, with the title Fun Talk with ETL, How to Get a Scholarship Abroad by Abdullah Sharifuddin. That was a really helpful guidance for those who want to continue and complete their master degree in the US. If you visit our YouTube channel, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to get the latest information for the next webinars. And my name is Nabila Rahmawahyuni, and I'm here with my partner Rina Cahaya. We'll be your host for the next 1 hour. And we're also here with our amazing speaker for today, Mr. Aldi. Hello, Mr. Aldi.
Yeah, hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
How are you, Mr.
I'm fine.
Aldi?
I'm good. Yeah, hope we find you well too.
Yes, thank you. And well, Ina, would you please introduce our amazing speaker for today?
Okay, thank you, Nabila. Since today's webinar is not a formal meeting, we are going to be more relaxed in this entire session. There will be a question and answer at the end of the presentation. All participants may ask the speaker directly or put the question in the chat box below. For an interactive discussion, we are expecting your participation. Okay, I would like to introduce our special speaker, Mr. Aldi Duyanto Yuryoputra. He is an awardee of Ministerial Scholarship, the most prestigious scholarship in Ministry of Finance. He is currently master degree student at University of Navarra, Spain, majoring in economics and finance. His experience is managing government investment, such as state-owned enterprises, Indonesian Sovereign Wealth Fund, and other government investment entities. And he appointed as a senior advisor staff of DGSAM. Are you curious enough about him? So please welcome Mr. Aldi. The session is yours. Please enjoy.
Okay, good morning, everyone. I'm so happy. I'm so glad to be here. This is such an honor for me for being here. I think there are many, maybe more special influencer maybe in DGSAM that maybe can share you guys about the scholarship. Maybe, yeah, I just maybe a little bit maybe can give you an insight that I would like to try to give you my experience or my scholarship about scholarship. And I'm so happy to be here. Good morning, our distinguished guests from Echelon 2, Echelon 3, Echelon 4, and all my lovable friends here. Okay, so maybe I would like to maybe introduce myself a little bit. My name is Aldi Duyanto Yuryoputra. Before I came here, I'm in TPR PKND, Tenaga Pengkaji. I just maybe 2 years working experience in that position, and before that I was doing internship also at that time also with Pak Kanwil, Pak Arik. So now I have 1 year here to finish my master degree in economics and finance. Okay, so maybe we can start the presentation. Maybe can I help? Yeah, thank you. Okay. Can this a full screen? Okay, so maybe I wanna okay, I just want to make a disclosure first. Disclaimer about my presentation here. Yeah, there are many ways to get scholarship. So maybe in general, I can tell you guys that we have very yeah, I think many ways to get there. And in this presentation, maybe yeah, this is very personal, very personal presentation. What I mean is this is how I get the scholarship. So maybe it can give you a little bit insight, or maybe yeah, some maybe yeah, maybe inspire a little bit. So in general, I would like to express my, I don't know how to say, but my point of view about DGSAM first, because I just get amazed when I was accepted in the Ministry of Finance, DGSEM, because I just see DGSEM is very, very wonderful. Now, start from that point of view, like I believe can related to scholarship. I think I can get scholarship with this position in Ministry of Finance. Why? Because maybe like maybe most of people think that pajak or maybe bea cukai is better, but for me no. I think like DGSM is very very big, very wonderful, because in private, because my previous experience in investment banking, so in private equity, so I just know that um, like like our roadmap, our DGSM is distinguished asset manager. So can you imagine that we manage not only a fixed asset but also natural resources? So I just did research before that our researchers, our natural resources is achieved around until quadrillion IDR, and it's crazy because it's maybe if you want to apply the scholarship, so maybe you have to make an proposal, make an essay, and you prepare for the interview. So based on the how big DGSEM, I think it can be useful for you to make any research or about a proposal about DGSEM. Okay, next. Can move the next slide. Okay, thank you so much. Okay, so I just want to tell a little bit about a glimpse of my footnote or milestone in Ministry of Finance until I get accepted. So maybe like before our in volume 1, the seminar, I think is very wonderful. Like my friend Mr. Abdullah Sharifuddin get accepted in the Ivy League. So if you see the presentation from him, it's very inspiring because he's Ivy League in US. Maybe in my way, I'm not in that league, but okay, I will tell you a little bit why I chose the University of Navarra and why my long objective or my long-term goal about related to this one. So I've been 3 years in Ministry of Finance, like 1 year OJT and 2 years working. So I'm in the TPRP KND. And then after that, this is my first time I joined MTB or Manajemen Talenta Beasiswa. And there are many scholarship that maybe you know. There are LPDP and AAS, Chevening, and MINS, previously VETA. So I just I prepare for at that time AAS and MINS, and because at that time MINS is what I say, like the application is come first, so I just decide to join MINS. And there are many rumors about MINS because most of people said the TPA test is very difficult, even though you study hard for that test in Bappenas or in some way is maybe the test in the real test is very difficult because the test is customized by BPPK. So it makes me not confident at all to be accepted in the MINS, and this is my first time. So like but at that time I just believe yourself, and maybe ask pray from your parents, and maybe you have to do with spiritual like pray or something. And then fortunately I get lucky, and I can pass the most difficult test at that time, which is TPA difficult at the TPA test, sorry. And then after that we are supposed to make essay and then psychotest. And then at that time, like because I prepare AAS2, so I have my proposed campus at that time is University of Melbourne. But because in Master of Management Finance, management in bracket finance, and because this mean is not only for Australia, so I just switch. And this is, I think, the insane switch is the crazy switch, because at that time I chose the number one campus in the world for by the subject is by subject, which is finance. It is MIT. And at that time, it's not only by subject, but by university at MIT is above Harvard. So like everyone just say to me, are you crazy? Do you think you can be accepted? Yeah, of course, in my mind, no. I just like, yeah, try, just believe yourself. And then, yeah, I get lucky enough because like my pray from my parents and also by myself, and maybe, yeah, because I'm so struggling, and then I got accepted in the mains. And then, yeah, this is the after accepted, yeah, of course I'm very happy. And then, yeah, we are supposed to do the preparation, pre-prep, so it's like preparation like IELTS, IELTS or IBT to for, yeah, for preparing your English score. But in this means feature, so there are many different scholarship, but for means that you can choose the campus, or you can switch the campus after you get accepted. It's different from LPDP, because in LPDP you are supposed to choose first, and then after that, I don't know, yeah, if there is a requirement for changing, but so far I know that, yeah, you have to do, because there's an option, maybe 1, 2, 3, and but it means you can switch into some campus. And then I just try to apply to some campus, and then I get initial interview for from NYU, New York University. I just like, but at that time I'm not finishing my application, so like, yeah, I just apply to some of my campus, and oh yeah, the requirement is you have to apply for top 25 campus in the world by subject. And then I never imagined that I will because MIT application is still in the next year, so I cannot apply at that time. And then I never imagined that I will apply for University of Navarra. This is my first time I hear this campus. That the rank is 25 based on a top university rank. So yeah, so the story is like, maybe 2 weeks after I got accepted from MINS, I just apply in the online application, and then 2 days, maybe 2 days after I applied, like the director of the admission emailed me like, okay, you can I think I can call you now. And then, yeah, it's very fast at that time. I just got by phone from him with him, and then like he just told me like, yeah, yeah, we are interested to you or something. I just think, oh my god, how can this very fast, you know? And then 2 days after I got phone from the director of admission, like I get the LOA. So yeah, the means rules is if you have LOA from top 25 by subject campus, you can go directly without the preparation for IELTS and something. Okay, and then short story, I just come to university, and I'm so amazed. I'm so surprised because I'm the oldest student in the class, even though I'm I'm the youngest already of me. So like, okay, like in here, the age of the student is around 23, 24, and I'm 28. Okay, next. Okay, so next is about the the receipt. Yeah, I don't know how to say, but it's like the a simple receipt how to get the scholarship. Maybe like most of you already know what is, and it's very familiar. It's very normal for applying a scholarship. First, enhance yourself, and then master the workload, and then know your goal. Next. Okay, next is about enhance yourself. Of course, there are 3 points that maybe it will be universal when you apply the scholarship in any scholarship. Like first is the English skill, and then the interview, and then the essay. Can you move the slide? Sorry. First is sufficient English. Of course, this is the mandatory one because it's around 6.5, and I will present it especially in the next slide. And then the standing essay, of course, the key point of this essay, you have to impress. So, but like I just said before, it depends on the scholarship that you want to apply. Like in LPDP, it's so matter, and maybe in any scholarship like chevening or something. But I can say for MINS or ministerial scholarship, I think essay is not that, yeah, it's not that, I don't say it's not important, but it's not that matter. Like the important one, you pass the TPA test, but yeah, of course, you still have to impress in the standing essay because it will support you in the interview session. And then in the impressive interview, even though like most of people say that if you go to interview session, like probably you will be accepted, but still like there are many challenges if you find if you meet the maybe difficult interviewer, and then yeah, they will so critical for your point of view or something, so you need to prepare for this one. And then next, okay, English. Yeah, I just experienced for this one too, because my English until now so far is very very bad. So I just like in the first side, I never believe the process, because I just think like, oh my god, like my English is never improved. And then I just joined the UE course for IELTS, and then IBT and anything. But I just after the test, like my score is not improved yet. So like, oh my god, like what's like, yeah, what's, yeah, I think like, yeah, I never improve my English, but just want to say, just practice, because when I just do consultation for with some seniors in the Ministry of Finance, like they experience the same things with me. Like in the first, like they are very bad in English, and yeah, ups and downs. When you are down, like maybe you feel like, okay, maybe impossible for getting scholarship because your English score is not improved yet, but yeah, in the end, like they are accepted. So like, yeah, just believe yourself. Like after I accepted in the ministerial scholarship and in this position, I just feel like the process, yeah, the process is always matter. And then get used to what I believe, what I say here. Like you have to love how to learn English. Like maybe you love to watch movie, and for sure for sure in ETL, this is the best platform. Maybe I see in the Mas Arif presentation that he must pay for maybe joining seminar or something. But in ETL, that yeah, you used to be in English everyday conversation, so it's really matter. And also when I was with Pak Arik, like every day I use English in his room, so it helped you so much. And you have to be fun, because if it is boring, of course, when your score is not improved and this is horrible to you, and yeah, you will have this process, right? So you have to make it fun. And for me, like maybe when I'm in the transportation, public transportation, like going home or maybe going to the office, I always hear YouTube, so I use the headset in the MRT. So like every day practice, and the score your score will improve, just believe it. And next, okay, this is the I think it's very important, because this is master the world field. Because if you prepare like the LPDP preparation for MINS, I think like maybe at that time you waste your time, because it's very totally different. I just maybe share my own experience, guys, because you have to pick the right gun for this world field. If this is LPDP, I just hear, yeah, because I never joined LPDP. Like the interview is really matter. You have to impress the interviewer so much. But I don't know this is true or not, because I never joined this one. And for AAS, I did many preparation, because in the first side I just think I will join AAS. So like I can say that AAS in general, because some of the awardees said to me, you have to be humble in your essay. Humble, it means like, yeah, you don't have to do, yeah, like do less bluffing. And because yeah, if let's say if you are staff, just do the innovation that fit with your position as a staff. So don't make any proposal or essay like you act as the echelon two or something. This is how the RIS way. But yeah, I still believe that there you have still your own style. At that time, I just think like I don't know, maybe I have to modify this essay, but like this is what I thought at before. And for US campus, let's say you get LPDP and maybe Fulbright, I just do consultation with some seniors. This is the reverse, like in US, you have to be maybe in the bracket like a show off, so you have like big innovation or something, because we know that the US campus is very freedom of speech. So yeah, there are many founders, many entrepreneurs there. So like, yeah, this is, I think, kind of different from Australia and US. And then impress them. So you act as an interviewer or the scholarship committee. So you think that you are not the participant, but you are the interviewer. So if you are an interviewer, so like you think, if I give this person 1 million USD, so it is worth it or not. So you have to satisfy them. So it's very, very important, because like say in my scholarship means, when I know that the goals of MIN is to make a future leader of Ministry of Finance. So you have to think about you have to think about to become like a leader of Ministry of Finance. So you have to make the innovation like match with the goals of Ministry of Finance. So if you are LPDP, because this interviewer is not from Ministry of Finance, like maybe there are many discipline expertise from there. So you have to think about maybe innovation compared to Indonesia. And then be a black box. What I mean in here, like maybe you have to gather the information as much as you can. Like maybe in Mas Arif session, he said about you have to join the scholarship group in the Tele, and maybe you have to ask also the seniors, not only in Ministry of Finance, but of course outside. If after you make essay, you can send to them, and then they will give the feedback. But think again, for me, my personal experience, don't ever to to remove your personal style, because when you are interviewed, you have to be responsible from your essay. So if the essay it's not you, it's so not you, like this is good essay, but it's from someone, I think you cannot like express the best idea from what you thought. Okay, next. The next is about can move the slide. Sorry. Okay. Know your goal. Nah, this is what I say before. Like you have to. This is related with interview and essay, because you have to know the long-term goal, like make a change, innovation. And then in my position at that time, when in MIS, I have a goal to make a digital investment from sovereign wealth fund, because I just manage the establishment of sovereign wealth fund, and I know this investment vehicle will reduce the fiscal expense, because we know that they attract the FDI, foreign direct investment from outside, to fund the domestic investment, like strategic, like infrastructure or something. But I want to make this one to finance the digital investment, like maybe startup or something. And this is for purpose of economic recovery, because we know at that time the COVID-19 hit, and this is the in bracket is a sexy issue. So you have to attract the interviewer and the essay reviewer, like, oh, so this guy or this person know how to make a big change for a Ministry of Finance and for Indonesia. And you have to solve the problem. Like you have to know the bottleneck, the trouble. And we know that, as I said before, the system is very big, but we know there are many problems. Like maybe in asset management, like we do some maybe the conventional way, like maybe we only make some rent, but we have many scheme, like maybe PPP, and equity partnership or something. So like you have to be someone different. Like after graduated from this campus, you can make a change for the ministry, and then build a sustainable one. What I mean, like your essay and your interview will be not very temporary goals. What I mean, like it's still valid in the 10 years, because like it can make the interviewer and essay reviewer, oh, this guy is very visionary, like they hitting about very future. So if they give 1 million USD for scholarship for you, the benefit is for long-term goal of Ministry of Finance. And then next. Yeah, so this is maybe I want to say about my master in Navarra. So this is about economics and finance. And this is the basic reason why I switched from MIT, from University of Navarra, because I know that in DGSM we still need the policy-based research. So at first, I didn't know that this program is research master. I just think this is the normal master, like coursework. But after I got done, like many mathematics and in every subject, in every lesson, in every class, you have to deal with the mathematics. So yeah, it's crazy, because yeah, I can do mathematics, but I'm not the best. Like it's very difficult for me. But like why I do economics and finance, because as I know before that I want to make a research about digital investment from sovereign wealth fund. So it's so related to finance, but to make to boost the economic growth. So this is so economics, and I never see the mix of this discipline in one master. When I see this master in University Navarra, like, oh my god, so there a mixed discipline in one master. I decided to join this one. Like the first point, the first benefit that you get is you already the Ministry of Finance. When we talk about Ministry of Finance, there's only two things, right? It's only economics and the finance, like tax, custom, and fiscal, and then budget and DJI or anything. It's about economics. And in DGSM also we have KND, like it's so investment, and we do many investment like related to, yeah, we have some BLU also, like maybe Elman. So it's so finance. So after, yeah, I think like after I get to this one, maybe the weakness is in here you learn the basic things about economic and finance. So you are not exposed to learn a new things, maybe like cryptocurrency, like a fintech, because I see in MIT and maybe in Harvard and some Ivy League, they have a class about these happening trends like cryptocurrency and fintech. And then you are a hero for DGSM. Why? Because I said before, like after you get graduated from here, you are so strong in research. You fight the monster of the problem. What I mean, like, yeah, you can make the long-term sustainable policy for DGSM. So like it will save the tons, millions of assets in Indonesia. Like maybe we have some happening issue about moving capital city to Kalimantan, and to utilize the past buildings in Jakarta, and maybe the asset is around the world. So like, yeah, I think DGSM still need this expertise of this field. And then mathematics is basic for helping people. When I know in my class, like the smart, no, I just want to tell you guys, because maybe when you were in the high school, like the smartest student is the minority, but in here, oh my god, they are the majority of the class. So like I'm one of maybe the stupid student in the class, and they are so smart. I don't know why, because like they can understand, they can like always underlie the mathematics in every subject. Like yeah, after you get graduated from here, like I'll have king of match, and you can search in Google, because in here I just learned if you conquer mathematics, you can do anything, and especially in economics. So what I mean here, like maybe my experience in finance when I came to here is totally different from finance that I met before. It's so mathematic. So maybe after after graduated here, I can make some research in DGSM basic on the mathematics. So it is very surprising. And then next. Okay, so yeah, maybe already 30 minutes. So yeah, this is another bracket motivation for studying in Europe, because yeah, we know if you are in US, yeah, maybe you can traveling only in US. And then if you are in Australia, yeah, of course in Australia. If in UK, it's kind of difficult for you to going out from Europe. But when you are in Europe, yeah, in European Union, you can yeah, you see, like you can experience all the dream of maybe everyone around it, because it is important. Why? Because in here the class is very difficult, the program is very difficult, but I mean, like, yeah, you have to do refreshing or something. But maybe, yeah, if you go to maybe Netherlands, Erasmus, or some in Germany, Switzerland, you study in here, you can in the weekend, and in some maybe long holiday, like in the Christmas holiday, and next month I have Eastern holiday, so you can plan to go to, yeah, some we know the everyone bucket list. And then next, yeah, this is still related to the motivation, because we already talked about some things to get the scholarship and difficult class. And then, yeah, of course, if you are studying here, you can tell your grandchild about the dreamers journey. Like if you go to Eiffel Tower and the Colosseum, are you sure that your Instagram feeds will be less? Like, no, right? So like, yeah, maybe you can save your photos in your albums, because you get a bunch of yeah, I know you will make a stock for this one, and you will post in some moments. So yeah, it can motivate you maybe to study here. And then the people, like it means like all types of bully. Some are crazy, some are crazy, some are crazy. No, I'm kidding, they're very helpful. Like what I said in here, like in the class, I get I get many difficulties in subject, but like my friends, like from Europe, from US, and from Latin America, they are very helpful. So yeah, they will help you like very in detail. If you have some inquiries and difficulties, they will be happily like oh yeah, they will, yeah, what's part that you can do it, and yeah, they will help you so much. So yeah, you don't have to be worried, because like in here, yeah, the competitiveness, like, yeah, there are some students who are so competitive, but I don't know, in Spain, like they are so helpful, and yeah, it's a blessing for me. And then the, yeah, colorful culture in here. Maybe in Indonesia, I just see in MotoGP there are some pawang hujan phenomenon, and in here, yeah, maybe you see that the European people is so developed, and also it's totally no. Because I see in some cities, like we have like in my city in the northern of Spain, like there, if you see in Google, maybe there is a festival where the bull is running in the street, and I just know from the Spanish people that many people died at time. So like, yeah, it's crazy here. Like, yeah, it is not logical, but because it's tradition. And I just see also some traditional festival in here, and yeah, yeah, you can see the diversity in here. Yeah, it's very interesting to come here. And then like, yeah, the sky is the limit. Like, but any else higher than Europe? I think no. So like maybe, yeah, this is maybe a bunch of a glimpse of motivation, that maybe beside study hard, and then you can know people, because in Europe you can meet it's like in Indonesia, when you're in Java, you can meet people who talk in Sumatra, and talk in Kalimantan, Sulawesi, even in Papua. In here also, in Spanish people, you is totally different when you met Germany, you will and you met French, you met Italiano, and in here maybe I just want to say, if you can speak Spanish, I just know, and yeah, you can speak Italiano, you can speak Portuguese, because and Latino, because they are a similar language. So with master one language, you can speak any of language. Yeah, maybe, yeah, yeah, I think next is already done. Or okay, yeah, maybe, yeah, that's a very brief presentation. I'm sorry if I did a mistake, and yeah, maybe it can give you a little bit insight about studying in Europe. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Aldi. That was truly an inspiring story, by the way. And I think you are a smart person too, because you got accepted at prestigious university and you got the scholarship, right? It must be difficult for most of people. And frankly speaking, I was so immersed by your story and becoming an awardee and how to be able to live in a different country. You really put a lot of effort and you put your heart into it to achieve your dream. And we learned a lot from you today. And I hope you all enjoyed Mr. Aldi's amazing presentation as much as I do. And now Mr. Aldi will be answering some questions that some of you might have. So please ask him right away. If you have any questions, just raise your hand regarding his questions or anything else that you've been curious about Mr. Aldi. So please guys. Okay, we have Mrs. Yuyun here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, MC. First, congrats to Mr. Aldi for your scholarship in
Bu Yuyun.
Navarra. What
Yeah.
city Navarra is in Spain?
Pamplona.
Pamplona.
Yeah.
I visited Spain in 2019. Yeah.
See.
Very great.
Yeah.
It's a very great country. Yeah. First,
Yeah.
I want to talk about your study. Yeah. You said you want to be a like you say a hero for DigiSum. So yeah, is it in your study you listen? You learn about something about asset management? Because when I was get a tailor-made training in Holland, the government there used to build something not by APBN but by public-private partnership. If I'm not mistaken, yeah. I want to know if in Spain the same situation like in Holland. The first question, and the second, when you apply the scholarship, do you have to apply majoring studies that connect or relevant with your job right now, or you can do something? It's you are in DigiSum not always about asset management, not about finance, but you can also study about communication maybe. It's something that very important about mass communication or public communication. Oh yes. And the third, yes, I agree with you. Spain is great. You are right to choose Europe for school. If you can visit by only permanent visa, visit all the Europe. Okay. Yeah.
See.
That's
Okay.
it, Mr. Aldi.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Yes.
you, Ibu Yun. Mr. Aldi, do you mind to answer the question right away or you want to collect them first?
Okay, I think I will answer directly.
Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Bu Yun, for your question. It's very, very interesting question. Like, first, the first point is about public-private partnership. Yes, I can say you like, yeah, in Europe, I don't know how to say, but they're more independent in terms of funding, right? Because in here, like, yeah, there are many investment banking, private equity, and they're so connected with the government. So like, the asset in here, like they build the infrastructure. So like independently from the fund from APBN, and then yeah, we know that in here the public public facilities is very good. So maybe yeah, they are so good in spiriting the investment. Like if they are commercial enough, so they will do the public private partnership. And I don't know how to say, but the standard deviation or the gap. So if it is commercial, it will be built very good, because in Indonesia there are many commercial things, but they are not managed well. So maybe yeah, I can learn from this. Like if this is commercial enough, they can do public private partnership. And I see like they corporate governance is very good, and the information is not that asymmetric, because in Indonesia when we have fun and maybe we have network, and we also confused like how do we do this investment. And in here, like the secondary market is very good, like mutual funds, maybe reksadana, and the fixed income and equity. So the option is clear enough, so the transparency is clear enough. So the private sector is very interested to finance the investment, and the return is very, very good, because we know that it's supported by a good expertise here. So the ecosystem of public-private partnership is very good, and I hope like I can learn from this one to maybe do it, yeah, because maybe my experience in moving capital city in Kalimantan, so maybe I can yeah, I can apply this one, because Indonesia is not about lack of funding. Like everyone in here, like Indonesia is so big. Like some of my professor just say like Indonesia is the main producer like of nickel or anything. So we are the G20, like everyone knows. But how to manage that fund? This is the most interesting thing, because I just experienced no, because I just joined a research master. So I joined the research seminar every day, and the interesting thing is not about the scheme, it's not about the money, but it's about the people behavior. So the economics is so related to people behavior, how the management do the manage the fund well. So I just get interested. Oh, so the key of the investment is not about the return, so it's about the people managing. If the people managing is good well enough, it will make a very good ecosystem. And then yeah, maybe the second one is about, yeah, compared to my previous position. I agree with you, like in DGSM, like you say, like communication is very important, because yeah, I just say we have a very wonderful resources in DGSM. Like we have many things to do, you know, like we manage everything. Like let's say the happening, like maybe I just tell my experience, because when in television you see some now happening in MotoGP Mandalika, like ITDC, they get fund from KND. This is PMN, so it's related. And you name it, like maybe, yeah, investment. Maybe at that time we know that investment scandal of the Jiwasraya, and we also do restructuring for them. So like moving capital city, we are one of the main player for this one, because we manage the asset. So you see, like DigiSet is very big enough. And yeah, so like in any region of Indonesia, we have natural resources, fixed asset, and they have a different ecosystem. It's so unique. So maybe they can make, I don't know, in here, like in Spain we have yeah, in Spain, the maybe, yeah, you know that the interesting one from this country is they have many unique unique ecosystem in every country. Like in the southern Spain, there are Valencia, there are Sevilla, Madrid, and the north there are Barcelona. But they make some things good in here, like it can be related with the tourism. So I think like yeah, and then we have these resources, and we do some communication and strategic communication to not only for Indonesia but for around the world. I think it can be yeah, like everyone can come to Indonesia with the money, with the tourism. So I think it's very important. And but for me, because I have experience in TPRPKND, which is privatization, restructuring, and effectiveness, I did at that time. Yeah, the workload is very high, because at that time I'm only with one of my friend, and supported by one internship. And yeah, at the time with Pak Arik, and after that with almarhum Pak Yani. And then I just see like oh my god, we are so, I don't know how to say, like we manage the PMN that big. And like Kementerian BUMN and Kementerian Bappenas, like related to capital city, and then everywhere, like yeah, they respect us, because yeah, we are like in the bracket, like ketok palunya gitu. Jadi if we didn't give him the money, like that wonderful investment will not be conducted. So yeah, at that time I just see the what I can make something different is about digital investment, because we know in the private sector, like Gojek and Tokopedia already do IPO in New York, and many startups become decacorn. So I think like, yeah, we have fund money. So I think we can do some digital investment. We can make ecosystem of digital investment better, like fintech, you know. And we have some SMV, you name it, Explore. We have LPI, SME, and then about mortgage, about housing, we have SMF. So we can do fintech there. So I think like because this is not exposed enough, so I'm like my 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 passion, to be honest, is about digital investment. So that's why I come here, and I met some professors who are very specialized in digital investment, and that's why my proposed research, and now I'm doing my thesis, is about that. And in Europe, they are the best sovereign wealth fund named Norges Bank. So I want to learn from them because the biggest asset, the biggest market value. So I want to learn about digital investment from them. So that's why I got this. I just concentrate with this field of investment. And the last question is about Spain. Yeah, Spain. Yeah, I just Spain. Yeah, Spain is the people. Yeah, because I just come here. Yeah, because I don't know I don't know much about anything about Europe, but I think for normal people, like Spain, about soccer, and then MotoGP, and Barcelona, something. It's very interesting. Like, we know that Southern Europe is more, I think, it's more fun than Northern Europe, because Northern Europe, I cannot say, but they are very good in the education, in the anything infrastructure, maybe in the managing fund. But in certain Spain, certain Europe, like Spain, like the people is very well. They will help you, and I think, like, I just see the economic growth is kind of high, and they are a well-developed country. So in here, you will feel not boring if you study here. Okay, maybe they will satisfy your question, but if you still have some thought.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Aldi. Don't forget to watch Matador, yeah. You already
See,
in Pamplona.
ready. I already see Matador, and it's very
Okay.
very crazy. Very good.
Muchas gracias, Senor.
Muchas gracias. Hasta luego.
Oh, what a great answer, Mr. Aldi.
Yeah.
And once again, we need to remind you that if you guys hesitate to ask Mr. Aldi right away, you can use the chat box below to put your questions. So is there anyone want to ask a question to Mr. Aldi?
Okay, while wait for the next question, we also have some question for you, Mr. Aldi.
Okay.
First, you mentioned that in the leadership segment that we have to enhance ourselves. Could you tell us how to enhance ourselves, especially in giving an impressive interview? And second question is, what makes you choose Spain to pursue your master degree? And the last question is, what is the most memorable experience that you have while studying in Spain? Is there any ridiculous one when you interact with bule? Because you say the bule can be crazier. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Aldi.
Okay. It's very interesting question. And then I would like to ask, okay, first is about impressive interview. Yeah, it's very important. Why? Because this is the final stage of your application. So if you get felt like ini sayang banget gitu kan. Jadi kayak in the basic principle, as I said before, you have to know, like, you have to put the right weapon, because as I told you, maybe I want to own my experience. I know that when I was being interviewed with Pak Kang Denny, Director Sun DJPPR, and I know he's open-minded and he is so innovative. So at that time, I know that I have to like make more in innovative side, because I know that they will be interested. And I just get success because in very basic, you have to know what you want to do, and you have to make sure that this is interesting for the interviewer. Because if you make some things, you just tell your job. What I say, like, in any job, you can find the interesting things. Like if you are if you are managing some asset in KPKNL, they are very wonderful, because you know that in KPKNL, in one area, there like is so unique. So you have to know the people. You can do public-private, you can say to the interviewer that yeah, I just manage this asset directly. It's not about managing asset. If you are doing maybe in bagian umum or anything, you can make this one. But this is still depends on you. If you want to tell about your job, it's okay. But if you don't want to tell about your job and maybe you already joined the maybe paper competition like I was before. I just did the I just get lucky because I win some paper competition held by BKF and it's about digital investment also. But I never did it before and then I tell it to interview. So like this is depends on you if you want to tell the story like this is not related to your position, yeah, it's okay. But at least you have to make some the interviewer impressive, and you know that the interviewer is the echelon 2 mostly, and they are they already know everything about Ministry of Finance. So you have to make sure that this is very important for the for sake of the Ministry of Finance, not for Indonesia, but you have to make sure this is for Ministry of Finance. And in the LPDP, you have to make sure the goal is for Indonesia. And in passive interview also you have to be confident, because if you are confident, if you make a mistake, like they will not realize that you are making a mistake because you are confident. And if they challenge you, like sometimes they challenge you and like maybe some people will go down because like, oh my god, maybe they are not good enough to be no that's the so like in the interviewer there are good cops and bad cops. So sometimes like they are interviewer who act about the bad cops, so they will torture you many times. And like sometimes I just know that some participants will cry, because they are not enough, they are not strong enough to hold that pressure. But just number one is confidence, because at that time I just forget some of my important point, but because I'm confident, they are like, okay, they don't take into account for this one. So like the interviewer is going well. And then when I say before, the interviewer will, if you believe that your innovation, and if you already make sure, they will see that like a diamond, the diamond things inside you. So just make confident, and that the thing that you done is very very important in the future. And then the second one is sorry, I forget the question.
The second question is, what makes you choose Spain to pursue
sorry.
your master degree?
Yes. Maybe the main the basic one, as I told you, is about I never see the economics and finance in one master. So like I find this this program, and this is before I joined, I don't know this is quantitative. What I mean, there are many mathematics. When I joined this one, there are many mathematics. So it's a quick, it's very intensive research. Can you imagine this? It's only 1 year, and I got like the econometrics for 3 part, and it is very insane in here. But like I know that because when I was in Minsk, I just do some essay and proposal. Like I said before, digital investment sovereign fund, and it's related to economics and finance. And I just like let the decision from BPPK at that time, like if you want me, if you reject my proposal to come to University of Navara, it's okay. Like maybe I'm so struggling, and I know it's kind of impossible. I got accepted in MIT, but at that time, like the BPPK said, okay, this is one of the top 25 by subject, and this is very connected with your research. So I do this one, and then why I choose Spain first, like of course they are developed country, and the growth, the economic is good enough. And in here I think there are many sectors, because in the southern Spain, like the weather, the climate is good, so they do anything, like not only in the modern asset, but also they have a farm, they have fisheries or something. So I can learn from the real industry in multi sectors. And also when I see the professor in here, I have many professor from Harvard and LSE And my supervisor even here is from Colombia. So like you can learn from the best here, and also the subjects, if you want to see, yeah, it can be useful for not only DGSEM but Ministry of Finance in general. And the interesting thing with the Bule, yeah, I just get surprised here because like I think the craziest people in the Europe is in the Spain because yeah, if you know the song like Despacito, Danza Kuduro, this is in Spanish language, right? So can you imagine if you like everyone bring fiesta? Okay, fiesta is party. So like yeah, I never yeah maybe in northern Spain, sorry, northern Europe they are more chill, more yeah, I don't know, more quiet because in the Christmas holiday I went to Switzerland and it's totally different. Like in the night, everyone stay at home, just spend whole night with the family. In here, no, like they do. They do the fiesta in the street, you know, like oh my god, I cannot imagine that is but they are very kind. What I mean, like maybe when in Indonesia they do this one, yeah, it can be vandalism or yeah, yeah, it can be bad. But in here, no, they are still organized, though, so they are still responsible for this one. And in here, like you can find many Latinos people, like from Mexico. Yeah, you can in your mind when you think about Mexico, right? Like so, yeah, in here the people are very fun. And we also have the people from Northern Europe. So like yeah, if Asian people in here also, yeah, they are so quiet, they are so silent. So yeah, this is your choice. If you want to do crazy things, yeah, you can do it. But if you want to stay at home, yeah, you can do it also. So but in here it's very fun. Like 1 year you can yeah, it's not boring, you know, because sometimes when you are too much with the lesson with the class, you need to refreshing. And yeah, also in when you are traveling, you will meet many people around the world, because we know that, as I told you before, any else higher than Eurotrip, I think no, like yeah, you can find many unique people. You can, yeah, like you never meet. You have to experience this by yourself, because yeah, yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you ask anyone in the Europe and the US, like maybe the crazy people, yeah, stay in the Spain. Thank you.
Are you satisfied with his answer, Miss Ina?
Yes, Bill. Next session, please.
Okay, thank you for the great answer, Mr. Aldi. We have to
Yes.
be confident and believe in ourselves in order to get what we want, right?
Yes.
So is there anyone wanna ask a question?
I think it almost break, yeah. So everyone will be
Yes,
yeah, cannot
I think
wait to
everyone
break.
is I think everyone is already satisfied with your amazing presentation, Mr.
Okay.
Aldi, that we got no more questions, and so we will conclude today's presentation. Please, Ina.
Okay, we are at the end session. Thank you very much, Mr. Aldi, for your precious journey and many things on how to prepare a scholarship to study abroad, especially in country that doesn't speak English as their first language, for your answering the question and for the outstanding presentation. The discussion in this webinar has opened our mind about how we can struggle to get scholarship and visualize the reality about living abroad. So it's such a pleasure to have you with us today.
We would also like to thank all the participants who are very enthusiastic for today's presentation and for spending your time with us for about an hour. And please don't forget to fill in the attendance list on the chat box below. And it's been our pleasure to host this event and spend the time with all of you. We wish you have a nice day ahead.
Today was so great, but before we end today's webinar, we would like to remind that this webinar will be held continuously every week as the part of ETL's new program in 2022. Next week, we still have the interesting topic, where requests for your further participation. Thus, this concludes our fun talk session. We apologize if there's any inconvenience throughout the entire session. Thank you so much for your participation today, and see you next week. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you, Mr. Aldi.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Aldi.
Good luck.